What's going on, everyone? This is Tony with RcHelpDotCom, and today we're going to be rebuilding these BK servos. Now, as you can see right down here, these are the DS-3002HV servos. The guy that donated these to us, he ended up crashing, and it broke all three of these servos, and I'll show you that here in a second. But he decided to go with the 3001s, and he sent these over to me, and all I have to do is put in brand new output gears. So I'll show you what the little problem is. Let's see if we can tilt it, and well, they would usually fall, but as you can see, there's yeah, the output gear it's broke on all three of these servos. So basically these are sacrificial gears, and I'll show you this whenever we get one out of the package, but these are sacrificial. They're made to save the rest of the drivetrain inside these servos. Now, the only tool that you're going to need is a Phillips screwdriver, and you may need a small pair of tweezers. That's it. That's the only tools you're going to need for this. You might need an Allen driver to get your arms off, but as you can see, he didn't send any bolts with it, so mine aren't actually bolted in. And I got to give a huge thanks to Gina, which is an awesome RC pilot and a moderator over on RcHelpDotCom, for donating these servo arms to us. These are SAB servo arms, and they are going to work perfectly on the Goblin 380. So without further ado, let's go ahead and break one of these open, and I'll show you guys how to rebuild these servos. Alright, so first things first, we got to get that servo arm off. Then we're going to take our Phillips screwdriver, and we're just going to loosen all four of these screws back here. Make sure you're using a properly sized Phillips screwdriver, because if you're not, you'll easily strip these little bitty screws out. These screwdrivers that I'm using are the Pittsburgh brand from Harbor Freight, and they actually do really well. And they are very cheap, especially if you catch them on sale like I did. Alright, we've got all four of those loose. You don't want to take this back cover off. What you want to do is, if you've got a gear strip just inside, you'll want to push down on this. But on this one, like I said, yeah, that's broke. So we can pull it off. As you can see, I had a gear fall out. Guys, don't let that intimidate you. With a gear falling out, it is not that bad, and I'm going to show you exactly how to put these things back together. Now, your tweezers, this is what the tweezers are for, because grabbing hold of this pin with your finger is kind of hard sometimes. This is a clean surface. I just cleaned it. And as you can see right there, I've got that gear out. All three of the gears are right here. There's that little nub that's sitting up there, and then the rest of the gear is right here. Now, if we go ahead and pull this gear out, you're going to notice it has a flat spot. There is a corresponding flat spot inside that hole right there, and don't lose that bearing. As you can see right here, this flat spot is over here on the right hand side. You want to make sure to get that lined up with the new gear. So now what we need to do is break into our package here and get out our single little gear. Now, as mentioned before, right there's the flat spot. Here's your gear. Right here is that sacrificial area where these things are going to break. If you have a tip over, if you have a crash, they're going to break right here. Now, you may also have noticed these say 3001s. The 3001 output gears, they work in the 3002s. So if you break it, just get the 3001s and it'll work perfectly in your 3002s. So now comes the part that I've read threads on where people are having a hard time putting these things back together. I even saw one thread, one dude, he tried to rebuild it, he gave up, he ended up going and buying KST because he said they're easier. Guys, it is really not that hard. Alright, so now we're ready to go back together, and the first step I do, I just take the pins and put them into the servo body case. If they are stuck into the top right here, you can leave them there. You just got to kind of guess where it is and kind of wiggle it around. But you can do it with them in the top right here. I find it's a little bit easier if we go ahead and put them in here, especially this bigger shaft right here, the center shaft. So what we need to do is we need to get this bearing off of here, and the easiest tool I found to do this is a pair of ball link pliers. Take this, slide it all the way in there. Come down. You don't want it in that little nub, you want it behind it, and then just press. That takes that bearing off. Now we can discard of that gear. We've got our bearing off. We need to verify where that pot is, so I'm just going to turn that just ever so slightly. That way the flat spot is right here on the far right side. Now we're going to take our bearing, put it in there. Then we're going to take one of our center gears that has the small gear. That's your very first gear that you're going to put on. Go ahead and slide it down and make sure it meshes with the motor. Then we're going to take this little dome gear. We're going to slide it on, make sure it meshes down in there. Now comes the challenging part. Now we've got to flip this gear upside down to where the small gear is on the bottom. The big brass gear goes into that little recess of the output gear. So now we've not only got to feed this over the shaft, but we've also got to get that flat spot exactly right. Put it in there, slide it over the shaft, and I suspect this is where a lot of people are getting really frustrated with rebuilding these. Now we need to press down. Now you saw it stop right there as this flat spot right here touched that bearing. Guys, you're going to need to use some force to press that bearing onto this shaft. What I do is I just take any kind of flat surface, kind of like the edge of these pliers. I'll put it on top of that output gear, and then we'll just press down. Press until you no longer see that little ridge. So now we need to pop this one out. Take our top, go ahead and pop it onto the servo. You may have to kind of wiggle it to get those pins lined up, but once it sits down flush, that's all there is to it. We'll take our screwdriver. Start these easy. If you start to cross thread, then back it off, wait till it clicks, and go again. So I just went in, it bottomed out, I went ahead and backed it off about a quarter turn. Now we're going to go to the opposite edge. We're going to do the same thing. Alright, bottomed out, back it off. Bottomed out, back it off. And once that one's bottomed out, we're going to go ahead and tighten it. Go back up here, tighten this one, go back down here, tighten this one, always in a crisscross pattern. And don't over tighten it. This is a very small screw going into aluminum. So now we can take our servo arm and go ahead and pop it on there. Let's see how she feels. I'll bring it back here to the microphone so you can hear it. Works absolutely perfect. As you can see, there is no binding in that. So with that little bit of bounce in that output gear, I was actually worried about that, but that little bit of bounce in that output gear, not a problem whatsoever. So guys, that's all there is to rebuilding the DS-3002HV BK servo. If you guys have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can either post in the comment section below or click on the link in the description and come on over to the forum. Post up on the forum and we'll be more than happy to help you guys out. Got a lot of people over there. You'll get a response way faster than posting in the comment section, and we love helping you guys out. Once again, I got to give a huge thanks to Gina for donating these servo arms. These things are absolutely awesome, and they are going to look great on that Goblin 380. I do have to give huge props to Anonymous, the guy that donated these servos. He doesn't want to be named, so we're just going to call him Anonymous. And I got to give a huge thanks to you. I've been doing a lot of work for you. You know exactly who you are. Thank you so much, man. This is absolutely awesome. Even with the broke gears, hey, it gave me a video. So again, questions, comments, suggestions, post in the comment section below, or click on that link in the description. Come on over to the forum, post up. Be more than happy to help you guys out. Don't forget, give this video a thumbs up. I can't really get my hand in frame on this little bitty thing. Working on this small stuff has its challenges. But don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed, click that subscribe button. Go ahead and click that bell so you get notifications. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Man, them are purty. It's going to be hard keeping those clean. Hey guys, just as a little bit of a bonus footage type deal, what we're going to do, I'm going to rebuild this last servo. I've already rebuilt the second one. I'm just going to go ahead and do this hopefully in real time and keep it in frame for you guys. I want you guys to see how fast that you can actually get these done. it's really not that hard once you've done it a few times. Hopefully you never have to do this a few times, because bad things are happening whenever you have to rebuild a servo. Go ahead and get this back case unscrewed, pull off the top. We're going to go ahead and knock the center out, as you can see right there. And I don't know if I ever gave you guys really a close-up of the inside, but you can see right where it's sheared off. So, and as you can see, it did pull the pin out of that far left gear. You can see the pin inside the top right there. We're just going to go ahead and leave it like that. Go ahead and pull that out. That pulled the pin out of it. And pull that gear off, get that gear off. Go ahead and pull this one out. Now we're going to look down inside there, just like I showed you. We're going to try to find the flat spot. We're going to turn that flat spot to where it's right there on the right hand side. Alright, we're going to grab this gear right here. We're going to, it's a lot harder to do on camera. We're going to put it in there like that, squeeze, and just like that we have our bearing. I don't know where that gear went. There it is. It actually went into the tray for my little screwdrivers. So we got that. Again, verify where the flat spot is. We're going to pop our bearing down in there. We're going to take our little pin out of that center gear. We're going to put our pin into the servo body case. We're going to grab the small center gear, flat gear thing. Make sure it meshes with the motor and gets down there all the way. This one is just going to set on there right now, but you want to make sure it's meshed up with those gears. Now, and this is the hardest part, we're going to find the flat spot on the main output gear. We're going to put this gear just like that. I keep forgetting you guys are a little further over here to the right. Now, verify the flat spot, line up the gear to the shaft, go ahead and push down. That little crunching you heard was it actually hitting that bearing. We're going to take our needle nose pliers, press that down. You got to press kind of hard. And what that bounce is basically it's going into the potentiometer that's inside the case, but it's not going all the way in the potentiometer. Eventually, with the vibration of the helicopter, that will go down and seat all the way. Now, take our case and put it on there. Remember, that small little pin is still in the top part of the case. We're putting this in there. Sometimes you just got to kind of wiggle it around. It will eventually go together. We'll take our screwdriver. We'll tighten that down. Tighten that down. And I'm not going real tight on these. Tighten that one down. Tighten that one down. Go back. Just make sure they're good and snug. Oh, can't get it in that one. There we go. Grab your servo arm. Pop it on there. And the only reason I'm putting a servo arm on here is so I can spin it. And those, I mean, that feels absolutely fantastic. Give you a little listen. Sounds great. Now, I don't know how much you want to do that, because as you're spinning this like this, it is actually backfeeding voltage. Obviously it has nowhere to go, but it does backfeed some voltage. It might hurt some electronics down here or something. I'm not sure. But guys, that is all there is to rebuilding the BK servos. These servos are awesome. Again, thank you to Anonymous who donated them. Again, thank you to Gina for the servo arms. You are absolutely awesome. And thank you for being a moderator on RcHelp.com. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Questions, comments, suggestions, post them in the comment section below. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.